All right. Hey, everybody. I'm here with Zac Muir. I don't know, what is your title at Battr? Are you
So I'm with SISU. I've been with SISU since
okay?
day one, like 8 or 9 years ago. And with Battr, I'm just leading the project, right? It's our newest
Gotcha.
it's our newest product that we're bringing to market here at SISU. It's independent from SISU, but it's all kind of under the same umbrella, and I'm the lead on that product. So.
Awesome. So we'll just go with lead.
Yeah,
That'll
I don't
work.
know, man. I don't even have any thought about title. It's just like, here you go, batter, it's yours, right? So I've been helping with everything, getting batter set up with people or doing webinars like this, and it's been a lot of fun. We started working on it November of last year, started actually building the product, right? And we actually spun up a whole other dev team so that it didn't distract at all from what we're building at Sisu, right? So that was
Totally.
another advantage of building as a standalone product is like we have lost no momentum on building our core Sisu product, but at the same time, we've spun up a dev team to build this whole new offering that's been really exciting. So yeah, started that back in November, uh, opened a closed beta. Can you open a closed beta? I don't know, maybe not. We started a closed beta in March and then opened it up for everybody in June, and we're now just barely here in August. We're in our V1, right, out of beta. So.
That's awesome, man. And so, what problem are you seeing that this is kind of solving for your current clients or clients of Sisu, or just real estate teams in general?
Yeah, I mean, you know it, you see it. If you're listening to this and you have a team, like uh you don't need more leads, right? Like we were talking, you probably listen to this, you have 20, 30, 40, 50,000, even 10,000 in your database, right? And I think as an industry, we're obsessed with buying more and more and more leads, where if we focused on converting the leads already in our database, um, we would have a much better ROI, right? And a much better return on our effort too. Um, I think there's a lot of products in the market that solve for that, like nurturing your database in like an automated fashion, like really good tools, right? Like you've got like a Fellow or like a Real Scout that kind of like nurture your database at scale. And that's not what we're doing because there's already so many good products out there for that. What we focus on is the human side of the database, which is where everything breaks down, right? So all these great tools re-engage leads and nurture them, but then it gets into an agent's name in the database. And if that agent's not following up with it, everything just dies, right? It's kind of where everything falls apart is on the human side. And that's where we're like completely obsessed with how do we improve the human side of the CRM database.
Yeah, totally. And I know Follow Up Boss has smart lists in there that are kind of solving that already inside of the system. So, what are like the main differences between what Batter's doing and the kind of enhanced capabilities that it has to something like just using the smart lists and getting your team kind of just working inside of FUB like that?
Yeah, so every team I've seen that does CRM really well, that does, takes care of their database, they all use smart lists. I mean, I think you've seen the same thing too, right? With all the teams you work with. Um, it's really hard to get agents working off of tasks or automations. It's just too much to manage, right? The smart lists are easy because as an agent, I log in, I hit the list, and if I hit the list, I'm good, right? And so we always say the list is the strategy, right? As a team owner, as like a database admin, or as a sales leader, if you want leads worked in a certain way, that strategy should be reflected in your smart list. And so if I want new leads called once a day for 10 days, my list is what's going to reflect that strategy, right? And so where Batter comes in is putting, because every single team, I mean, sure you see this too, Josh, like every single team has these smart lists. If they're good, they have these smart lists and they tell their agents to work the list, but it's like across the board whether agents actually work the list or not. And I've found that the difference between teams that do and do not work the list is if you want your list worked properly, you got to have a little bit of teeth behind it, right? There's got to be some at least auditing whether it's being done, right? Like an inspect what you expect type thing. If your agents know that you care enough about the list to actually look at them every day, or at least once a week or twice a month, there's a little more teeth behind the smart list and it feels a little more real, right? So people who do that get better engagement on their smart list and they have a better taken care of database on the human side of the database, right? People who just say, hey, here's these lists, work them, and they never inspect them, they almost never get good engagement with the list. It just doesn't happen, right? And then if you want to take that a step further, rather than just inspecting it, maybe there's actually some consequence or some incentive behind doing it, right? And that's where I think we really come in, is not just auditing it, but saying, hey, I have lists. I have a list that is our weekly nurtures, and these are leads that are in a nurture stage with a time frame of 0 to 3 months. And my expectation is that these leads are called, texted, or emailed at least once a week, right? So on day 7 of no activity, a lead shows up on the list. At day 10, and this is what Batter's going to do, if it still hasn't been worked, we're going to leave a note that says, hey, you need to call this, right? Some people call it a nudge, right? To be completely honest with you, Josh, I don't think those are very effective. Like you could set them up, they're great, but like after like they're cool for about 2 weeks of nudging, right? And then it just blends into the noise of everything else, right? Of like there's so much emails, so much notifications. So, and at the end of the day, the agent already knows they need to call that lead because it's on their smart list, right? So I like it as kind of like a lifeline to show that you're helping the agent. But what really drives behavior is 3 days after that, if it's still not worked, we're going to
Mm.
sweep it to a pond where anybody can work it. We have some pond strategy there that's super important, but I always say nothing's going to improve in your database until you start sweeping the team leads. Once you start doing that, everything pretty much changes on a dime. So, and you get me going on this topic, I'll talk forever. So just cut me off. Gosh, like
No,
I'm obsessed. So
totally. I think something that you said that I really liked and really resonated with was the teeth behind it. it- One of my biggest struggles initially coming into the real estate industry was talking to agents and team leads and being like, what do you mean your agent your agents aren't going to like this? Like building something for them and them being like, oh my, this is cool and all, but I don't know if I can get my agents to use this. And it's like, aren't you feeding your agents leads? Like, is that not what's happening? And so putting those teeth behind it, because I totally agree. The nudges are great and it works. And eventually it just floods the agents with notifications. But if there's that real consequence of, okay, now's the time we're putting this in the pond and somebody
yeah,
hungrier is going to get this.
yeah,
It fosters that competition. So, I mean, without further ado here, let's hop into the system. Do you have it pulled
yeah,
up right now?
yeah.
Yeah, that'd
I
be
have
great,
it
man.
pulled up. Yeah, we did a webinar a little while back with a client of ours, Matt Smith, who crushes this. And what I love about Matt and how he runs, so Matt's like the #1 team in Missouri, and we noticed this before we built Battr. If one thing without fail was didn't care what the market did, nothing. He's been doing it since 2019, 600 plus deals, doesn't matter, right? Um, Market could go up, market could go, market go up, he's probably doing more, but the market crash, he's still going to do 600 deals. And we like really found that impressive because a lot of people, when rates shifted, in the last few years, their business really struggled, right? And they did less, and his state's right there consistent. And so um, we modeled a lot of what we built off of teams like Matt and like other teams we work with that were already seeing great results. When we first ran an audit on Matt's CRM, and I'm going to share this, it was super impressive. We're like, wow, this is crazy. And so let's see. He's got his different lists here, right? And I like looking at this like combined ABCD and his ISAs, right? And so this was an audit that we ran just yesterday. It looks like this one we ran this morning, right? And it's based off of his smart list. So a lot of you are familiar with this, but I really love a collection, right? A lot of you use these collections of leads that are, basically like a collection of lists that's like a win the day, right? So you work this list every single day, and if you've done it, you've won the day. And the expectation also is that if a lead is on this list, you need to call it, or it will potentially be swept to a pond. So it's super easy as an agent on this team to know if I work my list, I'm good. If I don't work my list, I'm potentially going to have leads taken from me, right? And so that's essentially what Battr does is it comes in and audits every single day and it says, all right, if it's an A lead and it falls onto that weekly list and it's been 10 days since the last call, text, or email, we're going to leave a note that says, hey, we're out of compliance on this lead. Reach out and keep up going. We're not going to do anything with agent leads because, we're not going to sweep someone's grandma to the pond, right? Like your sphere, we're not going to touch it. But so we're excluding those agent leads. And then we send an admin overview of what happens to their database admin, right? And the B leads get a little more time, and the C leads get a little more time, and the D leads get a little more time. All of this is like 100% flexible to you and what your smart lists look like. But also, if you don't like your smart lists, we've got a set of like bulletproof smart lists that we will copy into your account and you can use them. They're used by a lot of like our top flex teams, really leverage these lists and they're solid. And you won't have to do anything. We'll just copy them in, right? Um, but you can see kind of his expectations of how leads are worked reflected in Battr with an at-risk note. But then the teeth really come in where 3 days later, so we gave a note on an A lead at day 10. Well, at day 13, we're not playing anymore and we're sweeping this to a pond so that somebody who's hungry can work it. And so that you as an agent aren't overwhelmed with too many leads that you can't handle them, right? And so you can see kind of all of those different expectations and consequences that are reflected in the system. And the system just goes out and does its thing. Like you don't have to log in, you don't have to think about it, you don't have to click a button to, sweep or anything like that. It just every day at 3 o'clock, it goes out, it leaves notes on the leads that need notes, it sweeps the leads that need to be swept, and it just enforces, the standards that are built into the database, right?
Yeah,
So.
totally. And so you talked a little bit about the agents being overwhelmed with some leads. And I assume that there's some solid reporting inside of Battr as well that kind of indicates that to kind of show where those leads are going, if you want to get into that as well.
Yeah, for sure. So like I'm looking at this at the company level. I could look at it at a
Okay.
group level. If you're like multi-location, we could audit this by group, and then we can audit it by the agents too, right? So I'm going to sort by compliance percentage and I can see which of my agents are taking care of their lists and which agents are maybe feeling a little overwhelmed and maybe fall behind a little bit, right? And if I want to like click in and actually see like who is the neglected lead and click right into FUB and see what's going on with that, right? I can do that as well. So um, it's very easy to quickly see what's going on in your database, which agents maybe are taking care of stuff, which agents are maybe falling behind and take action off of that. So
Yeah, definitely. And so, I mean, any success stories you've seen? I know maybe implementing Matt's smart list system into teams or just teams using their own smart lists. Like, do you have any pretty solid success stories of just great ROI on this already?
yeah, client of ours, we swept 6,000 leads to a pond, massive database. This is Chris Nevada out in Reno and in Vegas. And I think he's Bara client too, right?
Yeah.
And so Chris had 6,000 leads hold up in agents' names that, according to his standards, which are pretty reasonable, were not being worked, right? So we prepped the agents. We actually implemented our smart lists into his account that are just, like I said, they're pretty bulletproof. Like there's really with our smart list that we copy, and there's like nowhere for a lead to hide, right? And so as an agent, it's super simple. Work the list and I'm good. If I don't work the list, I'm potentially going to lose a lead, right? We gave the agents a couple weeks to get their feet under them. But even after all of that, um, we swept like 6,000 leads to a pond, right?
Mm.
Uh, and we checked back on those leads the next day. And I think there was like 5 or 6, it was like not even a full day later, like 5 or 6 appointments met. And what was interesting was we didn't hear anything from the agents who lost leads. They weren't even paying attention, even though Chris had been like 16 emails saying that this was going to happen. The agents that we heard from were agents who got into those ponds and pulled out, a couple appointments. They're like, this is amazing. Like, thank you for doing this. So excited to work these leads. I got a showing on Friday with a hot lead, and I've taken 6 more out of the pond. I think of the 6,000 we swept, 1,000 of them are back in agents' names and being worked now, right? And so
Wow.
I'll probably have a cooler case study for you, Josh, like in 6 months when we take those, because we track them, right? We track the 6,000 and see like what's going to happen with them down the road. But I think just in that initial sweep, there's going to be a big ROI, off the system. It's not super expensive. It's cheaper than, having so for example, in Matt's case, um, he had a full-time VA that went in every day, checked, audited the list, left the notes, and swept the leads. That was 40 hours of her time. She now manages none of that. Battr does all of it, and she's super talented. So she's doing all kinds of other stuff in the database that's way more valuable because this side can be automated, right? So um, those are kind of the two, layers of success. One is like, can we create a couple extra closings, right? In Chris's case, 6,000 leads. We're definitely going to see a lot of closings from that because they're good leads. And on the other side, if you don't have to pay a VA to be your database admin, that's going to save you money and effort because you have to train that person where you won't have to train a system. You just tell us how you want it set up, right? So,
Totally. Yeah, man. And I really liked the that idea of kind of bringing back humans to the human side of business. Like she 40 hours freed, like can just do whatever she needs to do, and kind of operate on a higher level there.
yeah.
That's our our motto over here, and it sounds like you guys are doing it over there too. So really appreciate that, man. Thanks for jumping on today. Is there where can people reach you and kind of learn more about this, or
Yeah.
let's
So,
plug yourself?
yeah, go Sisu. I'll drop this link. Maybe you guys can like link it in the notes, but sisu.co/demo dash batter. Um,
Perfect.
you can go to the Sisu website. There's a little chat bot too. You can talk to Spot. He's our chat dog. He's a very good boy. He'll get you set up with a demo of Batter and check it out. We do a free trial. We set the whole thing up for you. We import 6 months of data. We have some killer conversion reporting that we didn't even get into today. Um, and we do that all during a trial before you make any kind of decision. So you'll see the thing working before you have to decide if you want to pay for it or not. So at the very least, you can steal our smart list. You get a 6 month audit of your conversion and you don't pay us anything for either of those. So grab a demo. We'd love to show you more. It's a pretty simple system and pretty quick to see the results with it. So we're really excited. It's standalone from Sisu. It works better with Sisu, just like everything, because we get better like bottom of funnel, like ROI, like conversion and like commission. But you don't have to use Sisu at all. We have plenty of people, probably 20% of our people are using it just on Follow Boss without Sisu, and that's totally cool as well. So,
Awesome, man. Well, thanks for
oh,
jumping on, dude. I'll make sure to put that link up in wherever I'm posting this. I don't know. It's going all over the place, I guess. So you'll have
yeah.
access to that for whoever's watching. Zach, I'm excited to see where this thing goes, man. It's
I got one more words of wisdom here.
yeah,
This is
okay.
our motto these days.
Just
Just
call your list.
call your list. It should be that freaking simple. If your lists are good and you can get your agents calling the list, your database is going to be taken care of, right? It's that simple. So you put a little
Totally,
team
man.
behind it, it'll get done. I don't care who your agents are. You might need to go recruit a little if it ruffles some feathers with your agents, but it's really you start sweeping leads, it's way less drama than you think it's going to be. What's drama is when you randomly decide to take a lead from somebody because you woke up that day feeling like taking away a lead and the agent feels singled out. But when the system enforces it 100% of the time, 24/7, and no one's thinking about it, there's no drama. The answer just becomes like, just call your list. That's it. Call your list, right? So
Totally. And I really appreciate the amount of effort and time you guys put into the user experience to where it is just call your list, right?
that's
Like
it, man.
making it as
Call your
easy as
list.
possible for the team leads and agents. I love it, man.
Yeah.
Well,
All right.
good to see you,
It's
brother.
fun. Yeah. Thanks, Josh. We'll see ya.